Just when they thought poverty was over, and their dream of becoming wealthy has come true with the lotto winning numbers right in front of them and overly excited, there was an unexpected loud knock at the door, with the atmosphere all of a sudden gripped with fear. The room became dark, light flickering. With a shaking hand, Ruth opened the door slowly and the whole family was shocked and shaken with fear. The Della Cruz family had been struggling for years. Ruth and Manuel, together with their 2 children, Carla and Leo, with the third one in the belly, were just trying to get through each day. Money was tight, and Christmas, usually a time of celebration, felt like a burden this year. They live in a small, run-down house in a quiet town. Manuel works long hours at a factory, while Ruth takes on odd jobs just to make ends meet. But their hearts were heavy, and stress has taken a toll on their closeness. Life had been difficult, and there was always an air of sadness that has settled over them. Their 2 kids were homeschooled and did pretty well, with the hope that one day everything will be fine and the kids will start mainstream school. But then, one thing Ruth and Manuel knew best was to love their kids. One chilly Friday evening, while coming home from work, Manuel stopped by a small convenience store and, in a moment of pure hope, impulsively buys a lottery ticket. It was an act of pure desperation. He knew it was a long shot, but anything felt possible in the spirit of the holiday Christmas season. The following night, as the family sits down to watch TV, the lottery numbers are announced. They watch in disbelief as every number on their ticket matches the winning numbers. They've won, they're millionaires, they can't believe it. Can you believe it? This is our miracle, our Christmas blessing. Ruth said in disbelief. Does this mean Santa came early, Mom? Carla, the little girl, said. Overnight, their lives transformed. Ruth and Manuel pay off debts, buy a beautiful new home, and start to enjoy life. The children are enrolled in good schools, and the family finds joy for the first time in years. They bought new clothes, and they plan to give their children the Christmas they had always dreamed of. Ruth laughs freely, Manuel feels light-hearted, and the family bonds strengthen as they're finally freed from the shackles of poverty. This Christmas is going to be the best, said Ruth. Their kids are so excited. For the first time in years, they are going to have the best Christmas and get gifts from Santa like they have always dreamed of. They had some few outings to beautiful places, and the kids were so overjoyed. But then, on the 3rd day, as the sun begins to set, as the family settled in after a day of holiday shopping, there was an unexpected loud knock at the door. The loudness got everyone startled and shocked. Who could that be? Ruth opens it slowly, only to be facing a horrifying figure standing right in front of her, holding an axe with red-hot eyes, with darkness looming behind her, holding a parchment that has the lotto numbers they won on it, scrawled in an old-fashioned, eerie handwriting. The family froze for a second, as if to have been hypnotized. But it was what's written beneath the numbers that chilled them. The price of your fortune must now be paid, and disappeared, leaving the parchment that has the lotto numbers they won on it. That night, they were plagued by strange sounds echoing through the house. Shadows move without a source, and whispers drift down the hallway. Carla starts sleepwalking, muttering in a language the family doesn't understand. Leo claims to see a shadowy figure standing at the foot of his bed, watching him as he sleeps. Panic grips the family as the atmosphere of their new home turns from blissful to sinister. Christmas Eve should have been a joyful night, but the Della Cruz family felt the shadows closing in. That evening, strange things began happening around the house. Mom, the lights, they keep flickering. Someone's here, said Carla, the little girl. Dad, There's something by the tree, Leo murmured. Things worsened the following day. Ruth wakes up covered in scratches. Leo becomes unresponsive and starts drawing disturbing pictures of dark figures, and Carla speaks to invisible entities, calling them by ancient names. Manuel and Ruth realize they must find a way to break wherever curse these lotto numbers has brought before it consumes them completely. Manuel, desperate for answers, goes through old family records and finally finds a hidden letter from his grandfather. The letter details a chilling story. Decades ago, Manuel's grandfather had made a pact with a spirit known as Liliam, a demon who promised fortune to those who dared invoke its name. The spirit had attached itself to a series of numbers 68, 178, codes that, when used, would bring wealth, but would also unleash a haunting upon whoever dared to use it. Manuel realizes that the winning lotto numbers are the same numbers his grandfather was warned never to use. By using these haunted numbers, they have invited the spirit of Liliam back into their lives. Christmas morning arrived, but instead of joy, a terrifying chill settled over the Della Cruz household. Shadows clung to every corner, and a strange fog seeped under the doors. The spirit of Liliam was ready to collect her debt, and she wasn't leaving without a final, horrifying battle. Manuel, it's here. I can feel it, Ruth murmured. Ruth, Manuel, Carla, Leo, give yourselves to me, or I'll take more than just your souls, Liliam echoed. Liliam's ghostly voice with horrifying figure standing in front of them compelled the family out into the cold, thick dark woods behind their home. They couldn't resist her call, their feet moving on their own. The deeper they walked into the forest, the darker the world became, as if even the light feared what lay ahead. All of a sudden a chilling wind picks up, and out of nowhere, a decrepit cemetery appears, hidden among the trees. Where are we going? Carla said in fear. Come to me, Della Cruz family. This is where your ancestors fell. This is where you shall end. Liliam, the spirit being echoed, lifting up her axe. This caused the Della Cruz family to tremble to the ground in total fear, with the kids crying so loud. The old, forgotten cemetery, surrounded by towering trees and tombstones, cracked, covered in moss and snow dusts on ground, with the air thick with an ominous presence. The Della Cruz family was forced into the eerie graveyard. The family felt Liliam's power grow stronger. The air was icy, every breath forming clouds that faded into the fog. Liliam's voice filled the air, booming with demonic fury. Her dark figure, with red-eyed figure in a Christmas old dress holding her axe, stood near a broken headstone. She points a skeletal finger at each family member, and with every movement, they feel an intense weight pressing on them, as if the ground itself is trying to swallow them. I demand a life for a life. Your ancestors tried to escape, but they left me to haunt the earth. You, their bloodline, must pay for their sins, please. We didn't know about the curse. Manuel started pleading. Ignorance does not free you. You've called upon me with those cursed numbers. Now, you must offer me something in return, a child's life, or else, you all shall join me in the shadows. Knowing the spirit demanded one of their children, Ruth's heart shattered. But a spark of courage flickered within her, and she stepped forward, hoping to find another way to save her family. Liliam, however, is ruthless, rejecting every plea with a horrifying smile and outstretched hand. Take our wealth back, take anything, but please, not my children, Ruth said with a shivering voice. But Liliam echoed a response. Wealth means nothing in my world. I want flesh, I want blood, and if you won't offer one child, then all shall be mine. Determined to end the curse, Manuel recalls his grandfather's warning about a chant passed down through the family. Desperate to protect his loved ones, he begins reciting the words, hoping to send Liliam back to the darkness. He starts chanting in a shaky voice, repeating his grandfather's words as the family holds hands, closing their eyes in prayer. Liliam's screams echo through the cemetery, her figure flickering and distorted. The shadows retract, and the fog begins to lift, as though her power is weakening. You cannot escape me forever. Your bloodline is bound to me. But I will wait, Liliam echoed. Manuel and Ruth shouted together, "You have no hold over us anymore. This ends here. Liliam, back to the darkness you came from." With a final, bone-chilling scream, Liliam disappears into the ground, leaving behind only silence. The family falls to their knees, exhausted, but safe. The morning light breaks through, illuminating the cemetery as if purging the last remnants of evil. The Della Cruz family stands in silence, taking in the peaceful dawn. Snow falls gently, and the cold, dark atmosphere is gone. They slowly make their way back home, grateful to be together, cherishing the light that has returned to their lives back home. Manuel remembered a historian they visited earlier and what she told him about what was happening with the numbers, and that they must return the cursed numbers to the spirit's realm through an ancient ritual that involves burying the parchment under the full moon, in the exact place their grandfather first encountered the spirit. One day of the full moon, the Della Cruz family drives to a remote location where Manuel's grandfather was said to have first encountered Liliam. Armed with the cursed parchment, they begin the ritual, chanting ancient incantations as the historian had instructed. As they do, the ground beneath them begins to shake. Dark figures emerge from the shadows, writhing and circling the family, their eyes glowing red. The air becomes thick with a malevolent energy, and it feels as if the spirit itself is resisting their efforts to break the curse. Just as hope starts to slip away, Ruth, in a final act of defiance, calls out to Liliam, declaring that the Della Cruz family will no longer be bound by fear or curses, by the spirit of Christmas. "Release our family from your grasp," she prayed. With a flash of light, the dark figures dissipate, and silence settles over them. The curse is broken. The ordeal has ended, and the Della Cruz family returns home, filled with gratitude and the realization that no amount of wealth is worth their love and safety. They sit by the fire, holding each other close, and gaze at the Christmas lights with a renewed appreciation. Ruth and Manuel promise to cherish every moment with their children, knowing they have survived something truly dark. With Liliam banished, peace finally returns to the Della Cruz home. Though they've lost their fortune, they are grateful to be free and together. Just then Manuel receives a bank notification. Every cent of their lotto winnings has mysteriously vanished. Their accounts are empty, as if the money never existed. A message appears on their bank app screen, reading, "The price of fortune was not wealth, but freedom. Never seek cursed riches again." They sighed heavily, with a smile on their faces. With the aroma of the Christmas chicken in the oven filling the air, Ruth stood up to get some Christmas chicken for the family and just then noticed a Christmas card slipped under the front door. Picking it up, she noticed the winning numbers written again inside, along with a message with a chilling twist that left her speechless. Guess you are wondering what that message was.